Your personal brand is happening in other people's minds. Niching down is complete bullshit. However, what you need to do is build the main character out of yourself. Like, it's not about as much as niching down as being strategic. What kind of opinion you want your audience to have of you? I lost a very big consulting client, and I talked about that experience, focused a lot on the behind the scenes of how, right? This is what main characters do. They have to adapt to something that's happening. I don't care how many followers a person has. I care about the engagement that they have. Same if you had
your selling power. Love that.
Exactly. Your community has no idea who you are, and so they're never going to buy from you. And be like, this is good enough, and click post. If I will post 3 reels a day right now, I would die. Content creation burnout is completely real. That if you're not going to post a story or a reel today, the world is not going to collapse on you. Like, how can I monetize this failure? Turn that story into cash.
I trust this girl. Like, she knows what she's doing.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Bold Moves, the podcast where we empowerment to be bold, be brave, and be you. I'm your host, Ayu, and oh my god, I just had a great and inspiring conversation with someone. She is a personal branding coach on Instagram. She knew what she's talking about. Oh my god, you should watch this. We talked about personal branding, content creation, the mindset behind creating the content, the misconception about personal branding, and the struggle of creating content as well, and also a better strategy of doing it. She even told me her strategic way if she had to start from scratch again. How amazing is that? I'm just... it's gold. And if you have been struggling with creating content or starting your personal branding journey, this is a must watch for you. I'm sure that you will be enjoying it. You're gonna love it like I do. You can see from me, I just got off a conversation with her. I'm still as excited. I think more excited than before. So here she is. Please welcome Daria.
Hi, hello. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you.
I am too. So thank you so much for your time today to speak with me and being here well, not in my studio, hopefully one day. But
you're all about manifesting here, right?
Well, just FYI, everyone, we both are in the opposite side of the world. Daria is in Canada and I'm in Bali. So it's late in there, but it's early in here. How great is that though?
Right? I feel like it's one of the beautiful things that we get to enjoy.
I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah, how the world works. And like you and I both have experience of being immigrants. You are, yes, you're just seeing the sunrise. I'm watching the sunset. Like opposites attract. This is all what it's about.
I love it. But thank you so much though for doing this with me. And I'm sure the conversation that we're having today will be valuable and inspiring as well. I know it will for me. So let's get started.
Let's do it.
So yeah, as a content creator myself, I know that personal branding nowadays is the essence of it. But before we get into deep, can you please tell us a little bit about your coaching, maybe your audience, and just a little bit about your program and things like that?
Oh yeah, of course. So I'm a personal branding coach and I work with content creators and service providers to help them build a profitable personal brand, primarily on Instagram, but we do touch other social media channels as well when they don't have 10,000 followers. Because I feel like typically, especially when I was growing my business, when I wanted some kind of support, there was always like this big names. And they're like, when you have 100K followers, this is a very easy strategy that you need to follow. And I was like, so I have 700 people.
So what?
What am I gonna do here? Exactly. And I just felt so honestly lost and confused. And I saw that I could do something, but I just didn't know what exactly that I could do. So this is how like this kind of side of this business grew. And I'm very honestly like privileged and super excited because as of today, as like we're recording this episode, I reached 100 people and I've officially worked with 100 students and clients. So I'm super excited. And that's like every single person trying to build their social media presence at whatever capacity it is. And it's honestly just so inspiring and super motivating for me to be a part of many different businesses, from like fitness coaches to wedding planning, makeup artists, photographers, whatever. So anyone who is looking to get clients on Instagram, and I can definitely exactly I can definitely help and support. And me being like taking a part of those small little businesses and being part of their story, it's honestly just like the best reward I could have asked.
That's amazing, and I love how specific your audience is. And you mentioned about less than 10,000 followers, right? Which is, well, a lot of people nowadays struggle with that, including me. As a content creator as well, I struggle with that, as just everything that you just said. So what I really see, because we sometimes I have networking with friends that also wanted to build their personal branding on Instagram. They also have this at the beginning when it started. They are so confused to find their voice on, well, the word niche on Instagram. Yeah. What's your advice for someone who struggle with the niche?
I love this question just as much as I hate this question. Because I feel like every single person, like, I feel like the idea of niching down is not really suited for a lot of people if you are a multi-passionate person. I feel like niching down is, like, I don't know if I can swear here, but niching down is bullshit.
No, you can.
Awesome. Niching down is complete bullshit. However,
I love that.
Be strategic about what it is that you want to post, because think about this way. Your personal brand is what people think about you. So your personal brand is happening in other people's minds. So that is happening by what you're telling people, which is your brand positioning. So your brand positioning is you controlling the narrative of what other people will think about you.
Including your content creation as well.
That's the whole point. Exactly. So, for example, if I want you to know that I have a cat and a dog, and the cat is 3 years old and my dog is 7 months, and they're not getting well, and then they're not like getting along right now, and it's a big struggle in our family. That would be my personal brand inside your head. But why do you need this information? You do not need this information. This information will do absolutely nothing for you unless I'm selling some kind of
dog food or
exactly, like pet training course. And I want to be known as your go-to person, as the authority in this industry of pet training. But I'm not. I suck at it. Realistically, I want to be known as your go-to personal branding coach. So this is why I will be telling you stories about my clients, of what they have done with their personal brand. I will be telling you stories of how I grew and how I strategized and how I built my business of a personal branding coach. I will talk to you about how I post on my content and how I show up with my content, what kind of stuff that I create. Yeah. Because this is information that I wanted to be useful to you, because it ties into this person.
The relatability of what you want to be perceived as a personal branding coach. It's not you and your baby and your dogs, but actually it's about, so your content creation ideas is actually about that. It's not niching down, but it's more specific into, it's relatable to what you want to give to people. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. It is how you want to be known as. Like, for example, I'm also a multi-passionate person. Like, there is a lot of stuff that I try. There is a lot of stuff that I do. And yes, some of the stuff I do share with my community online. Like, for example, I love hosting monthly parties for my girlfriends, and we always do like a theme party, and it's always like I do always have something fun and exciting. It's important for me, but this is not really how I want to be known as in a space. And
I love the way you explain it.
I just do it for fun. Or I'm in a relationship and I've been with my husband for 10 years. Like, we've been together for 10 years, but we've been married for 4. Love the dude dearly. Like, love our relationship, love our marriage. But the fact that I am married
of your content.
Exactly. I can sprinkle some content here and there when it's fun for me and I want to enjoy it. But I'm not going to do it during my sales cycle, for example, like right now, because it will take away the attention. So I feel like it's not about as much as niching down as being strategic. What kind of opinion you want your audience to have of you?
I love the way you say it, because the word niching down, for if you guys are content creator, probably niching down. For me, it took time for me to niche down because I get stressed. Oh, geographically, the age, and I got stressed, and it become like when I'm creating a content, it becomes like limited because of that restrictions per se, I think. Yeah. So, and it's difficult to be authentic when there is like a lot of limitation on, I cannot do this because it's not a woman in the 30s, I cannot do this. And I love the way you explain it. It's not really niching down. It's actually strategic. And I love when you say you can sprinkle a little bit of your lifestyle, like maybe a video of you and your partner going somewhere, but it's actually the text probably about personal branding or all of that is related with you. That is really good. And talking about authenticity, what do you think are the 3 things someone should focus on when building a personal brand? For me, for example, in my short experience, those are the hard part is the consistency, authenticity, and networking, like what we're doing right now. So what's for you? What would you say? What are the 3 things they should focus in to be able to create a good content?
I don't think that I will be able to name like 3 things specifically, but I will name one, and that's a lot of stuff that ties into it. And that's showing the behind the scenes of a story. So it's instead of tailoring your content, if you're a content creator, you're building a business, whatever it is, you are probably working towards something. You want to achieve something. Maybe there is like a follower count that you want to do. Maybe there is a business that you are trying to build, but you're telling your audience some kind of story. When you're telling this story, it becomes very authentic because what you're doing, you're placing yourself very similarly like a main character in a TV show. And whenever you watch a TV show, that main character has some kind of goals. Typically, it's something related to money, related to love. Maybe they're trying to get a new job, do something there. And you're following along as they're doing something with their life. They're failing, they're winning, they have some challenges, they have some really, really great stuff. They do some very, very stupid stuff, but you follow along as they do it and you're involved.
Character energy.
Exactly. And you're involved into the process. And you do not question whether or not this main character is authentic or not. You just believe that they are based on the actions that they've taken. So when you're a content creator or you're trying to build a business and build your personal brand online, what you need to do is build the main character out of yourself. What is this main character trying to do? What are you trying to achieve? What is the challenge that you're facing? And talk about that. So I call it behind the scenes strategy. So you are sharing the behind the scenes of what it's like to building a business. That's honestly how I'm building my social media following and how I'm building engagement and trust and relationship with my audience, and why I have like honestly a pretty high conversion level for somebody with my size of audience, simply because I do stuff like I share monthly income breakdowns as a personal branding coach. You do not need to share all the money that you make, but it's not something that you want to do, of course. But I also talk about stuff that like really suck in my business. For example, I lost a very big consulting client last year that was responsible for 95% of my entire income. And that was like the biggest amount of money that I've made. And I talked about that experience. I talked about how much it sucked, how I was scared, how I had no freaking idea what I'm going to do with my business. But I started to see people getting engaged, involved, because you're kind of placing yourself in this like underdog role where people are watching and they're saying like, are you going to make it? Yes or no? They're cheering for you. They're getting excited for you. They are getting engaged.
This is the main character thing that you've said before.
Exactly. Switching this main character mentality. So, because realistically in 2025, if you're building a business and if it's like a service provider, like a brand business, people not gonna follow it because there is nothing for a human on the other side of a screen to connect with, because it's your business. It's important for you. But like your mission statement, whatever it is, there is absolutely nothing that's happening for a person. But if you're telling me a story about how you built that business, what you've done, what you have achieved, what kind of wins and challenges, what did you have to overcome in order to build that business, I will be excited. I will be involved and take all my money because emotionally sold to buy.
Because it's more like you reach that part of the main character. When you watch something, you're focusing on the main character, on this person. But also it's authentic because you are sharing for example, your story, losing a client. You're sharing the behind the scenes. And I love the way you say it. It sounds like someone just slapped me in the face. Like, well, I've been looking for the strategic way to do it. And then sometimes I spend time in YouTube and trying to talk to someone, but it's just become like, which one should I do? With this one or that one? But then you just we're talking for less than 15 minutes now, and you already give me like the understanding, the essence of your approach, which is like, girl, be the fucking main character. Follow it. I mean, be an authenticity as well in there. You don't have to say authenticity or that. I love that. I really love it.
See, I feel like the thing with strategy, everybody has a different strategy and strategy will work for everybody different. And if I will give you my strategy, like as is, it might not work for you because this is my strategy. It works for me. But if you have the foundation, which is your story laid out, you can apply your own strategy that will work specifically for you. Because I feel like strategy without foundation will collapse 100%.
Okay.
Right?
No.
So the foundation is figuring out your story, figuring out your goals, your direction, the clarity, and getting clarity. Exactly.
Oh, I love that. Clarity, everyone, clarity. Focus on the clarity first, build that foundation, and then you can go in a strategic way. One of the strategy could be the main character and the whole. It's like storytelling, but focus on what you are selling or what kind of product or service that you want to give. Is that something?
It is like focus a lot on the behind the scenes of how you're building your business. And I truly believe that behind every single personal brand, there is always some kind of interesting story that's happening. Yep. Like, for example, behind my personal brand, I'm telling a story of how I'm trying to build my business. The key word here is trying, because when you say trying, there is a lot of stuff that won't work. There's a lot of stuff that will work. So my audience is trained to celebrate with me and to mourn with me as well, because I can easily share my fails as well. And I can easily, like, for example, I remember, when I was just trying to figure out seasonalities into my business, I didn't figure out because I didn't know. I didn't know that summer was my slower time. And I had basically no work whatsoever from June to August. And I wanted to launch a group program for like just 3 weeks and I had 0 signups. Now, if my entire personal brand would be built that I'm this all-knowing, almighty, riding on my high horse kind of authority figures that knows everything, I would never share that I had 0 signups into my program. But
So you did.
because my brand is built on the fact that I'm trying to build my business, I went on stories and I was like, you guys, holy shit, I got 0 signups this
part of
person's
it.
cohort. And for the previous one, there were 20 people. What happened? So I think that this is because it's seasonality. And in June, nothing is happening. No, everybody wants to be outside and nobody wants to work.
True.
So I'm not going to launch this program at all. I'm just going to chill and focus on one-on-one clients. If you are interested in working with me on one-on-one, let me know. And I signed up 5 clients like that. And
that's really, that's strategic. That's
strategic.
flexible. It's not like a structured program. You are actually really good adapting to the circumstances, to the situations around you. Okay,
but this is what main characters do, right? This is what main characters do. Whenever you watch a TV show, they have to adapt to something that's happening. They want to get a promotion, but then something happened and now they have to shift and pivot. Again, main character mindset.
Now let's talk about some sort of misconception of personal branding or in Instagram or content creators. The one that I see a lot is about your huge amount of followers, like 20,000 and then 80 and then 100,000. What's your take on that? Do we really need lots of followers in 2025? We're talking about right now. Do you think, what's your take on that huge amount of followers? Do we need lots of followers to be able to convert?
So here is my take. I don't care how many followers a person has. I care about the engagement that they have. Because I worked and I've seen many, many times where a content creator, a business owner would have like 50, 80, 100,000 of followers, but they would have like 500 people watching their stories. So that's an indicator of lower engagement rate. And that's an indicator that people are not as excited and curious towards the
about your content.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's not about the amount of followers. It's about what's actually happening behind the scenes within your account. And what is the level of trust that you have with your audience? Because if you would have 500K followers and then nobody trusts you because nobody knows what's happening on your profile, nobody knows what's happening in your life, you have 0 trust, thus you have 0 selling power. It would be the same if you had
0 selling power. Love that.
Exactly. So it's not about the followers. It's about the level of trust your community has to you, because we can do a lot, a lot of stuff when your community is engaged and actually trust you, but we can do anything when your community has no idea who you are.
No
trust. They don't trust you, and so they're never going to buy from you.
That's very articulate. I love that. And I love the part that engagement over followers. It's true, because I've seen a lot of people, they have lots of followers, but the engagement over their post reels whatsoever is really low. And I love the way you say engagement over followers is 0. What was that? 0 trust.
If you have no trust,
0 trust, 0 selling point. Selling power, sorry. Talking about creating content, let's talk about the mindset behind creating the content. And I remember you say this, done is better than perfect. Can you please translate this into the content creation context? Because people need to hear it.
Of course. So I will talk specifically relating to reels. So whenever you're working on any kind of reel, realistically, there is always something that you could else do on that video. You could change the lighting, you can change the video, you can realign the shot, you can spend 7 hours looking for the most perfect audio, you can do so much stuff. But you need to learn when to stop yourself and be like, this is good enough, and click post. And realistically, the more videos that you will post, the better your content creation skills will be. simply because you will learn how to do it quicker and better and more efficient and more strategic as well. So if you will spend 7 months editing one reel, realistically, your skills are not going to get any better. Right?
True. That makes sense.
The
That's
same exact video. Exactly. But if you will, for example, also consistency looks different for everybody. For me, consistency right now in this season of my life, it looks like posting 4 reels every single week. My consistency in end of 2023 look like posting 3 reels every single day. If I will post 3 reels a day right now, I would die. Like literally, I would die.
I put that before as well, and that's why I love the motto of done is better than perfect. People do not do the content creating, not taking it seriously. It's just creating content, posting 3 things in a day. It's difficult. It's draining. 3 posts in a day.
It is. And content creation burnout is completely real, 100%. If you're only focusing on producing the number of content that you can create, you can create some very shitty stuff that nobody will engage. And whenever nobody engages, it's like the same way as you're putting so much effort into something and then you will see no response back. We typically as human beings, we need some kind of energy exchange whenever we do something. So you created a reel, somebody liked it, somebody commented, you're like, okay, that there was a
validation.
A validation, exactly. There was some kind of validation behind it. I can rest in peace now. I can chill. I can do my stuff until tomorrow when I need to create another reel. Because your feelings and your work and your efforts have been validated. But if you create content and the content is shit, like realistically, and nobody engages, nobody likes your comment, you have no views, you have limited, if no motivation, to create any kind of content again, because your brain will be like, well, buddy, it doesn't work.
Not working.
Nobody likes it. Exactly. And when our brain has never had a positive experience with something, it won't go and try to do it again. It will be stopping you and sabotaging you from doing it again, because it's be like, whoa. We already tried it. It did not work. So why would we do it again? Because it's unsafe.
Our brain. Yeah, that's
exactly
true.
But if we can prove to our brain that there are positive reinforcement, there are positive results after our action, 100%. Like it will create all the reels that you want. It will try all the things that you want because it has proof, positive proof that it works.
That totally makes sense, because I have experienced that. Not saying that, I'm doing the right thing always, but when I started it, it's just sometimes it was difficult, exactly like you said, because you're trying so hard. For example, the perfect song, it doesn't go with what I said. No, it doesn't go, and you get stressed. You know, there was one time that I spent 1 hour just to find the right song, and I looked at the time and I was like, what was I doing? Like taking so much time, and I get tired and draining, and then the next day, oh my God, now I have to think, and you start to overthinking a lot when you're creating a content. And also looking back in my experience, I have this content creating fatigue. Like I'm tired of creating content, I might say. So the story was when I started it, it was fine. The first week, I'm on fire. I can start 2 posts in a day. Then comes 2 months of constant posting, right? And it becomes dreadful. Exactly like you said, I have no motivation to create content. My creativity is blocked. I start doubting myself. What's the point doing all of this? And then comparing myself to the other account, and then my creativity is just not flowing. And is it something normal, or what else we should do when we start the personal branding journey instead of having an experience like me? What do you think we should do?
So first of all, that experience that you described, literally every single person goes through that experience.
You have to go through it.
Like a default lesson that you need to go through, like 100%. So you're not alone. And it's completely normal, especially when you're starting like a new business avenue. You get so excited and your motivation goes through the roof.
Yeah, it's
You're
like,
gonna collapse. Exactly.
and then you've got to find yourself, and you kind of like, okay, this is part of it. I have to go through it. It's part of the journey of starting like any business. It's not going to be like you start and kicking off. That's why I'm talking about the mindset behind it, because I used to think a long time ago, before creating content, I used to think, but it's so easy. It's just creating content. Then I get into it and I was like, oh my dear, like, oh my God. And the 2 months, and I struggled. Oh, I have to create content again today. And then, it's normal. It's part of the thing. But one of the things that helps you to get through it?
I feel like, well, first of all, creating a realistic schedule, long-term realistic schedule. So like, for example, if my motivation is flying through the roof and I'm like, oh, I will create like 50 reels and will post all 50 reels today, abuse it. Abuse this high level of motivation. And if like I'm motivated to create 50 reels today, awesome, but I will save them all in my draft. And when I will feel like shit next week, I will just use one of those reels that's already ready to go. Because you will have days when your creativity is very high and you're very excited to do stuff. But you will also have days when you really feel and look like shit and you really don't want to be on camera and talk about and like start recording, or like last minute things will come up, like as always in a content creation business world. However, it always worked this way. So whenever you have this feeling, so like excitement and motivation, try to utilize this inspiration. But what I also do, it's always on my to-do list. It's literally on my to-do list to post some stories, post a reel, and post on threads as well. As I've been taking threads really seriously for the past couple of months. And if I'm really struggling, it will be on my calendar as well. Like, for example, it will be like a blocked time that this is time I'm creating content. I need to record these 3 videos and this is what I need to do. This is on my calendar. It's unmovable.
Yeah, I think that strategy will work better, the scheduling thing. And when you're inspired, because we are human. I mean, we're not robot that every day we have the same feeling. Oh, I'm so up for creating content today, or my creativity level is up there. I think it makes sense because I do that too right now. So if one day I feel like I'm so inspired to do this and I start just put the camera and then I recorded a lot of B-roll videos or me talking, and then voila, I've got the content for the next week. Then it is actually easier than when I was starting. It's just like daily inspirational. I think, okay, what do I do today? Oh my God. And then sometimes you don't get inspired. So you kind of like creating shitty kind of like content because I didn't think it's going to be like this today. Oh, I finished yesterday. Oh, I'm going to think about that tomorrow. I think scheduling is really good. It works on me, and I think for many people as well, because it helped us to prevent that burnout at the end of the day, or creativity blocks or things like that.
100%. I feel like what you said, it's very important. And like, if I may add to that, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And your goal is not to create content for 1 week and kind of call it a day. Your goal is to create content for weeks and months and years and sometimes decades. So the fact that you won't post a reel today, it's also like about being kind to yourself and giving yourself some grace and credit that if you're not going to post a story or a reel today, the world is not going to collapse on you. Like, you will be fine. Like, I guarantee you.
There are times that I feel like that, when I feel so guilty when I didn't post. Like, oh my God, the whole Instagram, my it's just like that feeling. But then I just, okay, let's just not post today. I just take a day off today. And it was fine, actually. But then I do not let that happen again and again and again. The whole world is not collapsing. Like, I'm still fine. My Instagram is still fine. And I posted the next day and it's still okay. The same engagement or etc.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, it's about being able to come back to that routine.
So it's okay to be kind to yourself. And I love that part. You say that you have to be kind to yourself. But at the same time, you have to keep going as well, because the more you create post or reel, the more you are getting better at it, I think.
100%.
And yeah, I know this is a lot to ask, but if you had to start from scratch, right? Briefly, doesn't have to be 10 minutes talking. If you had to start from scratch, what would you do?
Well, I would definitely register on my Instagram account and we'll start building my personal brand online. I would optimize my profile right away to fit the goals that I want to do. So if I want to be known as a content creator, this is what I would state. If I want to be known as some kind of business that I'm providing services, this is exactly what I would state. I would post first 12 pieces of content, so reels and carousel posts, without any expectations for it to go viral or anything. It's just for the sake of whenever people will join, that stuff will be on my Instagram. And so they're not adding up to an empty page. Next, I would do an audience analysis and really dive into what my audience are looking for, what kind of support they need, what kind of pain points they are experiencing right now, and do I know how to solve those problems? And if I do, talk about them on reels and on stories, and talk about any kind of, again, showing the behind the scenes. Hey, I just started this new account. I'm just starting my new business. Every single client that I would land, I will always talk about them, not necessarily like showing the client per se, but I would definitely hey, this is I just got a new client. I'm so excited. This is a problem that they are experiencing. This is how I'm gonna approach it. This is what the plans that we're gonna do. And this is how we will be working. Any positive feedbacks that I receive from a client, always screenshot it, post it on stories. So there is kind of like additional buzzes happening. And I will go to a shit tons of networking events where my ideal client is and be known in the area where you are as a go-to person who does it. And then instead of giving people like my cards or anything like that, I would say, hey, would love to connect with you on Instagram. What's your handle? And then once we're connected, I would send them a message. It was really nice to meet you the other day at this and this event. I really love what you said about XYZ. If there is anything I can do for you as this and this person, please let me know. Would love to stay in touch. And I would also ask if I have current clients, I would ask them for referrals. If I don't have clients, I would ask my friends who I'm sure they know somebody and ask them for referrals as well, as I'm just starting my business. So this is what I would do if I would just be starting out.
I love that. And you say it in less than 3 minutes. And then I'm just trying to, everyone, if you have to start from scratch. So this is the first thing that you need to do. First, of course, you register your Instagram or social media, and then optimize your profile. So, and then you post some of the things. So if the people come to your profile, it's not an empty page, because people will not come back. I guess if I see an empty page, there is no post or whatsoever. And then you do the audience analysis, which is like understanding your ideal clients who might be, and understanding. So you understand what you're going to post in your behind the scenes, I might say, the storytelling, and use the authenticity about, for example, if you got a client and you build the trust, like you've got the screenshot of you work with someone else. So if someone else getting into your profile, they see it, oh, someone is working with her. So you can build that trust. And then the next one is networking, like kind of like connecting to other people as well. And don't forget to ask for referrals. Is that what you're saying?
Perfect.
And I think a lot of people will find it very valuable, because it's not easy to it's very difficult because sometimes you go to YouTube and the next video, one video is saying A, another is saying B, another is saying C, and then another one saying A is not good, B is not good. And your brain is just getting overwhelmed with a lot of information. Now, how about now we talk about your entrepreneurship journey? Because I've heard let's go back before the coaching, you've had some businesses, and tell us about your entrepreneurship journey. From what I read, you had quite an experience in this field, building business before. Can you briefly tell us the journey of you pivoting to this coaching business?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm coming from influencer marketing management background, and that was my corporate job. Once I decided to leave my corporate job, I opened my influencer marketing consulting, where I was helping businesses to work with influencers. But then as I was talking about what I'm doing on my Instagram, I started to have influencers reach out to me and say like, hey, I'm trying to work with this brand, but I'm not really sure what are the components that I'm missing. And because I've been on the other side, I know exactly what brands are looking for. So I started coaching influencers on how to work with brands. And this is how I opened my second branch of the business. I was doing talent management agency for influencers and how to work with brands. And I had my roster of influencers, and I had my support and she was absolutely incredible helping me. And as I was talking about both sides of the businesses on my Instagram, I wanted to focus and position myself as an entrepreneur and talk about all of the stuff that I was doing and how to get clients on Instagram. So that kind of became a short revenue channel for my business, personal branding coaching for service providers and content creators. However, super transparently, that part of the business would take maybe like 1% of my entire time for the longest time up until April of last year of 2024, because this is when my biggest influencer marketing consultant, my contract ended and we stopped working together. Yeah. And I closed down my talent management agency because honestly, I realized that it wasn't the business that I wanted to build anymore. And I didn't just see myself doing that in the long run. Also, I absolutely loved the creators I was working with, loved the business, but it wasn't authentic to me anymore. So that part of the business closed in January 2024. And as of April, personal branding coaching is my primary bread and butter. And this is what I've been going full on with my business for the past 9 months. And it's been an absolutely exciting and rewarding journey. And I feel like I am obviously in a moment where all of the closing down the business and everything happened. I wasn't happy about it because it's very scary as an entrepreneur when you're losing your consistent income. And that was a pretty big income that I was losing. That obviously my thoughts were what if I will never make this money ever again in my life? What if it was the biggest money that I will ever make and I'm not gonna make it? I would have to go back to my 9 to 5 and this is it. And I'm super grateful that yes, my income shrunk 10x realistically ever since I've started working with and going full on with my personal branding coaching. But opportunities and connections that it got me and the clients that I'm working on right now, I would never have had an opportunity to work with them if I wouldn't have to let go other stuff. So I know now I know that I'm not going to be a homeless person. I will be fine. I don't need a 9 to 5 job. My business can feed me. I will be fine. But it's being patient with yourself, with the results that you want to have. That's honestly been something that I've struggled with for the longest time because you know your potential, but you just don't have patience for it. And yeah, that's been definitely a challenge. But
it is a challenge.
Exciting. Yeah. And getting excited about the journey, that's been one of the things because I remember when my businesses failed and collapsed and I realized that I have zero money coming in next month. I thought to myself, how can I monetize this failure? What can I do to turn that story into cash. I did. So
that's amazing.
I feel like when you're an entrepreneur, we will naturally have so many wins and challenges throughout our day. Like in one single day, can you imagine what's going to happen in a week and in a year? That this ability to be excited about the journey, that's like the most sustainable mindset that we can have, I think.
I love the way you say the sustainable mindset. I think that's amazing story that you just said. I mean, it's not just about how much money you're getting, but I can see from your face, you are excited doing this. I can see that you are happy doing this coaching, personal branding. Like you are very passionate when you're talking about it. You know what you're talking about, because the question they ask you, what would you do if you have to start from scratch again? You just, hey, da. People need to see that, because now you're building trust. I think even for me, I feel like I trust this girl. Like, she knows what she's doing. And I also can see you are passionate about it. And you learn from your entrepreneurship journey. You learn that, of course, there is like lessons along the way that, oh my God, I don't have that money coming in again, that big money. I can understand that, because I come from 9 to 5 as well before, and then moved, sold everything. And then, oh my God, now what? And actually that builds momentum that changed my mindset. Now my mindset is stronger than ever, because I'm able to, like you say, you monetize the failure, your word, but my brain gets more creative. I have to find the way myself. And I think that is part of being an entrepreneur, is I'm able to solve problems more than before. Problems in entrepreneurs coming every single day, right? Look, before we wrap up, I have one more question. So if we could leave our listeners or audience who are struggling with creating their content or starting their personal branding, what's your key message as a Daria? What would you say? So they remember Daria said this to me today. I'm going to go for it.
I would say just post it real. If you are overthinking, if you are questioning whether or not this is good enough, whether or not this is something that worth being on the platform, just post it.
Just post it, everyone.
Yeah, just post
it. And I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
The world is not going to end if your video is not going to go well. Nothing is going to happen to you. You will just post a shitty video. Your life, nobody's life is dependent on it. You will be fine. So just post the damn video.
Just post that damn video. Thank you so much for the valuable insight today. And I truly appreciate everything that you just say. And you are great. And I just love, you know what you're doing. And it's lovely to talk to someone that really knows what they're doing. And it's just amazing that you are confident doing it, and keep doing it. I love it. Keep posting the content, and I love your content as well in your Instagram. But thank you so much for today, Daria.
Thank you so much for having me. You are absolutely the best host ever. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I appreciate everything that you do. Thank you.